How to build a strong mind. There was a time in Daniel's life when everything felt heavy. Every morning he woke up with the same feelings: stress, worry, and uncertainty. His mind was full of negative thoughts. He constantly wondered if he was good enough, smart enough, or strong enough to achieve anything meaningful in life. From the outside, Daniel looked like a normal person. He had a job, friends, and a small apartment in the city, but inside his mind there was a constant battle. Every small problem felt huge. A mistake at work would stay in his mind for days. A negative comment from someone would repeat in his thoughts again and again. Sometimes he would lie in bed at night thinking about all the things that could go wrong in his future. His mind had become his biggest enemy. One evening, after a long and exhausting day, Daniel sat alone in a small park near his home. The sun was slowly setting and the sky was turning orange and purple. People were walking their dogs, children were laughing, and the world seemed peaceful. But Daniel's mind was not peaceful. He kept thinking about his problems. What if I fail in life? What if I never become successful? What if I'm not strong enough? While he was sitting there, an older man sat on the bench beside him. The man looked calm and relaxed, watching the sunset quietly. After a few minutes, the man looked at Daniel and smiled. "You look like someone carrying a very heavy bag," he said. Daniel was surprised. "I'm not carrying anything," he replied. The old man laughed softly. "Yes, you are," he said. "You are carrying it in your mind." Daniel stayed silent. Then he asked, "How did you know?" The man pointed to Daniel's face. "Your thoughts are written all over your expression." Daniel hesitated for a moment, but something about the man's calm presence made him feel comfortable. So he spoke honestly. "My mind never stops worrying," Daniel said. "I overthink everything. Small problems feel like disasters. I want to become stronger mentally, but I don't know how." The old man nodded slowly. "That is one of the most common struggles in life," he said. "But the good news is this: a strong mind is not something people are born with, it is something people build." Daniel looked at him carefully. "Build?" he asked. "Yes," the man replied. "Just like building muscles in your body, you can build strength in your mind." Daniel leaned forward, interested. "So how do you build a strong mind?" The old man smiled again. "Let me tell you a few lessons that life taught me." He pointed to a large tree standing near the park bench. "Look at that tree," he said. "It has survived storms, strong winds, heavy rain, and long winters. Do you know why it is still standing?" Daniel shook his head. "Because its roots are deep." The man continued. "People often try to build strong lives without building strong minds first. But the mind is like the root of a tree. If the roots are weak, the tree will fall when the storm comes." Daniel nodded slowly. "So the first step is learning how to control your thoughts." The old man explained something very important. "Your mind is like a garden," he said. "If you plant positive thoughts, confidence, and discipline, your life will grow in a healthy direction. But if you allow fear, doubt, and negativity to grow freely, those weeds will take over everything." Daniel thought about his own mind. For years he had been feeding it fear and doubt. "What should I do when negative thoughts come?" Daniel asked. The man replied calmly. "Do not believe every thought you think." Daniel looked confused. The man explained further. "Just because a thought appears in your mind does not mean it is true." He continued. "Many people think their thoughts control them, but strong-minded people understand something different." "What is that?" Daniel asked. "They understand that they can choose which thoughts to accept and which thoughts to ignore." Daniel sat quietly, thinking about those words. The old man continued sharing his lessons. "Another important part of building a strong mind is learning how to handle failure." Daniel sighed. "I hate failure," he admitted. "Most people do," the man replied, "but failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is the real enemy." He told Daniel something powerful. "Every successful person you admire has failed many times. Many times. The difference is that they didn't let failure break their mind." Instead of saying, I failed so I'm useless, they say, I failed so I learned something. Daniel had never thought about failure that way. The man continued. A strong mind sees obstacles as lessons, not as proof of weakness. He paused for a moment, then added another lesson. Discipline is another secret to a strong mind. Daniel asked, what do you mean? The old man smiled. Your mind becomes stronger every time you do something difficult that you don't feel like doing. Waking up early. Working hard. Finishing what you start. Staying calm when life becomes stressful. Every time you do these things, your mind becomes more powerful. Comfort builds weakness, the man said. Challenge builds strength. Daniel listened carefully. Everything the man said made sense. But the man wasn't finished yet. There is another important lesson, he said. Your environment affects your mind. If you surround yourself with negative people, complaining people, and people who always see problems, your mind will slowly become like theirs. But if you surround yourself with growth-minded people, positive thinkers, and people who push themselves to improve, your mind will grow stronger. Daniel realized something uncomfortable. Many of the people around him constantly complained about life. The old man continued. You must protect your mind the same way you protect your body. What you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and who you spend time with, all of these things feed your mind. Daniel nodded slowly. For the first time in a long time, he felt hopeful. But the man had one final lesson. The strongest minds in the world have one thing in common, he said. They understand that life will always be difficult. Daniel looked surprised. That doesn't sound very positive, he said. The man laughed. It is actually very positive. He explained. When you accept that life includes problems, stress, and setbacks, those things stop surprising you. They become part of the journey. Strong-minded people don't expect life to be easy. They expect challenges. And because they expect challenges, they are ready for them. Daniel looked at the sunset again. The sky had become darker, and the lights in the park were turning on. For the first time in a long time, his mind felt calm. So a strong mind is not about never feeling fear, he asked. The old man shook his head. No. A strong mind feels fear, doubt, and stress, just like everyone else. The difference is that a strong mind does not let those feelings control their life. Daniel took a deep breath. Thank you, he said. The old man stood up from the bench. Remember something important, he said before leaving. A strong mind is not built in one day. It is built every day. Every time you choose courage over fear. Every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you choose growth instead of giving up. The man began walking away, then turned back one last time. And never forget this, he said. The mind you build today will create the life you live tomorrow. Daniel watched him walk away. That night something inside Daniel changed. His problems did not disappear. His life did not suddenly become perfect. But his thinking began to change. And that is where true strength begins. Because when you build a strong mind, you build the foundation for a strong life. And once that foundation is strong, even the biggest storms cannot break you.